and welcome to a brand new series on Vintage Story. The reason that I'm doing this new series today is because we are at finally a place where we have sufficient mods, and believe me, I've been, that didn't, have to look into that. We have sufficient mods to finally justify going forward with the playthrough. So we're gonna do a let's play. And now I am experimenting here. I am both streaming and recording this. I will do a edited record of this playthrough, and I will also do a stream of it onto Twitch. Now, I will probably not post the edited playthrough onto Twitch, but the stream, here's what you should expect. The stream should probably go about an hour and a half or so. The edited video will probably be, between half that and between 45 minutes and an hour. I really want to make my videos of consistent length, and I want them to be episodic. And I might stream without recording sometimes to do more mundane tasks. But I figured this was a good format to do this. Now let me just look up this capture animals mod, because we do seem to have a bit of a issue here. Let me just pull this over here. Capture animals, okay, blah, blah, blah. And as you can see, we've got a RC5 version that was released January 6th, 25 days ago. So we'll go back to here, and as you can see, that one is unable to resolve mod dependencies. So, just kind of as a tutorial, when we do these, we do like to make sure that all of our mods are working. The easiest thing to do here is to just disable this mod for now. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Oh no, common library. Here it is. That's what I was looking for. So we need this dependency mod. So we'll just go ahead and do the one-click install there. And let's go back to my dashboard. Okay, so download that. And then we'll be good to go. So now we go back to the mods folder. I'm just double checking. And see, this is the type of thing I might cut out. Item frame. Why won't you? I don't know why that wasn't selected or that. Sometimes it doesn't auto select. Okay, Taylor's Delight. Let's do that one. Sometimes it doesn't select the mod automatically because it just doesn't always if you go too fast, in other words. Okay, so expanded matter is what we need to use that. So I could just delete that, but I do have expanded matter here, so I'll go ahead and click that. And as you can see, we're downloading that. It's 1.119, should be good to go. Another thing that I should mention real quick that I've been struggling with is just a little bit of information about my PC, is that I can tell you that when I go to my PC on my Finder, Explorer window, whatever you call it, we've been having some issues with memory, and I'm running out of disk space. And so I've never had that problem before. My assumption is that it might be a mod that's like just horrifically using up too much space. Not sure. But I am monitoring that, and we should be good to go. Now, we're going to create a new world today. For our new world, I'm going to title this something completely different. So we're going to just go... let's play. What are we at? Season 4? I'm not sure. I've had several seasons. I should probably look that up. But Season X. I can always change that. Let's play Season X. Okay. Now we do have these different preset options here. There is Exploration, which focuses on non-combat stuff. Exploration and building, less on survival. Wilderness, which is... more about combat and survival mechanics, less on exploration building. And then Homo sapiens, which is like you get rid of all the lore. Creative, which is creative, and then standard. So I always do standard. I think that this game is too good not to use all the little parts of it. I'm going to add just a little bit to the world height there. And then I'm going to do 20 minutes on the inventory drop before it despawns. I'm going to do the seasons and everything looks good. We're going to, we'll keep sand and gravel. I liked how that worked last time. I will enable cave-ins though. Then we're going to go to double our HP like usual. I almost always do that. Food spoilage rate, I'm going to change that to 75% so it spoils less quickly. Sapling growth time is normal, blah, blah, blah. All that's normal. I always like to bring that up to 8. You know, Terraformacraft I think was 12, so that still seems pretty reasonable to me. All right, global deposit spawn rate is 100. Should I juice that up? Or are we... No, I'll just keep that as standard. Change that to most cubic blocks for chiseling. The world map, I've been struggling about this. My prior stream that I've been doing, I did do that, and we may go ahead and change that from time to time as we go. But I'm going to give the new map a try. I don't like it, but I think we've got enough ways of dealing with the change that we'll see if we come to like it. We'll see. I'll give it a chance, and then we can always switch. Okay, so a couple more things. All that's fine. Temporal storms are fine. Land cover, we're going to shoot down to 80%. Actually, let's go 70%. And then land cover scale, I'm going to go up to 200. What this basically does is it creates a zone of land that doesn't exist, that is ocean or whatever. And then land cover where land does exist creates landforms that... it creates bigger chunks of land forms, basically. The upheaval rate is fine. Landform scale is fine. Okay, and everything else here is fine. I'm going to leave all that the same, and then I'm going to get rid of class exclusive recipes. Okay, and for the world seed, let me just do Spinoza. That's my cat's name. Let's see how that goes. We're going to apply that. And we're going to go ahead and create the world. Let's see if this is a good world. Folks, let's hope that this is a good world that we get for this playthrough. And if it's a good world, we will, of course, be happy. And if it's a bad world, I guess I could always restart the episode and just go from there. Now, the funny thing is I might want to, like, stop the recording, but I might keep the stream going, which is always fun. So we'll see how that goes, but for now it looks like we're getting okay frame rate. It's kind of weird because I'm like restreaming on both YouTube and Twitch, but I'm going to post this on YouTube later after I edit it. But okay, let's just see what the world says. I might edit this out, but the stream obviously is going to get all of it. And let me just pull up the live chat, just in case somebody decides to chat with me today. Okay, and we are streaming 60 FPS, pretty good bit rate. All right, looks good. And this is taking a minute because, frankly, I have modded this extensively. I've got something like 50 mods, which is like insane for this this soon after a new version has come out. The reason we're starting a new season now, by the way, is because 1.19 is out. One other thing I'll mention while we're waiting for this is that the X-Skills mod is out, but it's not by the original author. Somebody came along and updated it and released it. And there's this huge debate on the forum, on the mod page, about whether that's cool. I read through it carefully, and there was somebody who made a really good point that convinced me that it's probably okay for me to proceed using that mod, even though I do have some misgivings about it. It's not clear that the mod author authorized people to use it. But then there was no like statement that says you do not have permission to use this mod unless you contact me. So it's like there's an unstated, claim there, whatever you want to call it. But the mod author did a good job of pointing out whose mod it was, etc., etc. And they basically made the point that there was this whole discussion about SimCity 4 and like whether how tedious it is to wait for somebody's asset to update if you're going to do your own thing, blah blah blah. I don't really understand it. I'm not a huge code person, so I don't really know what the etiquette is and what the copyright situation is. All I know is that there were some really compelling points on both sides, and I decided I couldn't wait. I wanted to get in, and X-Skills was the one mod that I was waiting on. So this is going to be fine for my character. I like that. I'm going to go ahead and... Oh, what should I be this time? I do like this, but that's the rogue. Let's see, Forger, 10% more loot, more drop rate, more rusty gear drop rate, better. We can interact with cracked vessels and keep them. Less animal detection. We do lose hit points and some ranged distance and some melee attack. So the question is it worth it? I've never been a malefactor before. I think I can make that work, especially without having to worry about the class exclusive items. I think it's kind of nice to have those perks. I don't like the lack of damage, and I suppose I could always change classes later. Alright, so now we're in the world. I can tell right away that we're in an andesite biome. I'm curious, I do have the rivers mod, lag spike there. We do have the rivers mod installed. And, oh, there's a cat right off the bat. That's interesting. So I'm going to mark that. Okay, so here is... this might be a little rivers mod thing. I kind of did a very low version of some of the settings to create rivers. And so what we're probably going to get is a few big rivers like this one, it looks like. And not a ton of small rivers. Maybe I should... if this doesn't work out, maybe I'll redo it. But let's mark this cat. Not car, cat. Oh, and I need to make... before we get going here, let me just do one thing. So we're going to go over to the auto map, which is Control-Shift-M. We're going to set up a few things. So anytime I find one of these things in the world, I'm going to mark it. Okay, mushrooms are good. Flowers are good. Fruit trees are fine, but I have my own... I'm going to change this to that. And then wild crops, not going to mark. Surface ores, I definitely want to mark all of those. And those are probably fine. That's funny. That's all fine. And then deep ore. Yeah, I definitely want to mark all of those. I guess if I come across one that's weird, I'll just change it in real time. Beehive, yes. Translocator, yes. Blue clay, fire clay, peat, yes, all. High fertility soil. Alright, indigo's fine. Mediocre iron, fine. Saltpeter, fine. Okay. Traders, okay, so I've got... I think this is like remembering some of my preferences now that I look through this more. Yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's weird representation of beige, but whatever. I might have to change that one, but... And then the UI, mark map by interacting, mark map by sneaking while looking at object. Show chat message when a new map marker is added. Enable hotkeys to add customizable markers. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so I now got that enabled. So now if I go up, let's find a flower. Or actually, I'm gonna start taking flax right immediately. Okay, so I don't think we marked that. Although if I sneak and right click, does that mark it? No, okay. I think there was a way of doing that, setting that up, but, okay, so getting into the game more in earnest now. By the way, I finally did get my monitor. I ordered a new monitor. It's 27 inches. It's nice. It's the biggest one I've ever had, so I'm very excited about that. Oh, I should, yeah, I'm not going to take bushes until I decide where I want to be. This is flint. Okay, it looked like tin for, or lead for a second. So we're going to start taking flint, and then this one is already marked on the map, as you can see there. So, alright, let's go check out this river over here. I'm curious how that looks. Now, the Rivers mod does add new blocks to the game, and I think that's neat. You know, I really like that. Here's a horse, by the way. I don't remember how to tame horses. Sorry about the lag. Let me just make sure real quick that I'm doing okay with my memory issue. I'm just kind of curious if it's doing... No, we're good. It's still... We're doing very good on memory. So I wonder if my previous playthrough I just had a mod or something that just was like taking up a boatload of space, and it was just a weird, like, glitchy thing. I even went to the trouble of trying to get my Vintage Story data folder over to my D drive, and that works if you play vanilla. Boy, I'm getting too many lag spikes. Let's get our view distance down just a hair until at least we get settled and we get the land explored. Okay, so yeah, we're getting a ton of flax, which I don't mind, and we're actually getting the substantive thing there from the mature one. Let's get these flints. A lot of flint there. And okay, so this isn't even a river, it's a waterfall. So it's not the rivers mod that's responsible for that. Okay, so the question is, where do I want to go? Let's go this way. I will tell you, andesite is not a bad material to build with, but it's also not my favorite. Although I don't really have a ton of experience. There's fire clay up there. I don't know if it's worth marking that. That's weird that the fire clay is up in the mountainous area. I find that slightly odd. Yeah, so this map that we have, this new version of the map that came out with 1.19, well, I'll try to narrate aspects of 1.19. So this new map, oops, there's going to take a little bit there. The new map is theoretically attractive. There's quartz. Yeah, I'd auto mark that. I won't carry that though. Alright. So it's theoretically like very attractive in the same way that like you might describe somebody's voice as sing-songy. It's got this like whimsical like English nursery rhyme vibe, this like Berenstain Bears kind of vibe that's very, very warm and comforting, but also has some drawbacks. The most notable drawback is it's hard as hell to see anything like substantive. Yeah, my computer is struggling slightly with the I don't know if it's because I'm both streaming and recording at the same time. It's not a huge deal, it's only a few seconds, it's not like the game is crashing, but I do want to maybe address that in a future episode. So anyway, it's just very like warm and comforting, but it also is not useful in displaying helpful information on the map. And so the question is, do we have enough like wherewithal to survive without that information being so readily apparent on the map? Once we get settled, we will start doing some other things to adapt to that situation. But for now, I'm going to go over to this river and take a look at this. Now, we may not be happy with this world. And by the way, we're at 16 degrees C in spring here. And so the question is, you know, is that good enough for what is the nature of the season based on where I'm located? Here's some tule, which is one of the new fauna from 1.19. Apparently, it's one great way to really build straw buildings quickly, like a straw house. Is that guy? Oh, that's the critters mod. Okay, right. And what is that? That's just an island in the stream, to paraphrase Kenny Rogers. Okay, and what do we got here? Oh, I do have the Better Ruins mod, I should mention. And this might be a grave. Yes, it is, from that mod. So even though we don't have any backpacks yet, I'm gonna just do a quick dig and see if there's anything super useful here. I hate to do this because we're not gonna have the ability to carry much. Oh, there's a Jonas device, pants. Take the sticks for sure. I tell you what, I'm just gonna mark this, and I'll mark it. I want to do something maybe a little different this time. I'm gonna mark it as green. That means completely needs to be visited, you know? Okay, now we're gonna maybe take a swim. I desperately need to find cattails. The tule, as nice as it is, simply does not... Oh, I love how this river has such a strong current that you'd almost have to swim upstream to even have a chance of crossing evenly. So now when I come across especially big rivers, this is going to be like a very realistic... I'm really glad I added... This mod was a pain in the ass to add, and you have to like configure the world specially for it to work. But I'm really glad I added it because it that is a nice immersive touch. I will absolutely say that. Okay, so we're not finding reeds yet. Sometimes you'll get reeds in. Oh, I actually got the thing. I've never played the Malefactor before. I didn't know that you just got it from punching it. I thought you had to like shift right click it or something. Okay, so sometimes farming vessels contain reeds. I'll wait until I get to a place where there's actual reeds to break that and see. Because I really need inventory space is what I need. Okay, here's cattails. Here we go. Alright. And so this river has got some like heavy banks here. Not very gentle banks. And it's going very fast. Look at how fast that's going. And I will note that it's going in a completely different direction than the other one was. Which creates a certain amount of like, I'm impressed, you know? Okay, so first thing you want to do, and this is the start of my playthrough where I'll start to get all tutorial-y, because I just do, and you're just going to have to accept that. But right now what we need are a bunch of these reeds. And let me just break this. Okay, there we go. So it's got feathers and some, well, no, the reeds are from elsewise. If I eat this, I'll make room for those seeds. Okay. So we need, first and foremost, every, let's see, what is it, every 10 reeds, we get to make a hand basket. So, first priority is get a hand basket. And now I'm going to be really cognizant of the fact that if these things drop in the water, they're going to be effectively irretrievable. The game must have changed something about jumping out of the water, because it used to be harder than hell. And now all of a sudden I'm finding it rather easy. Okay, there's our first hand basket. And now we can even think about taking the roots of these things as well. They will give us eventually the ability to grow our own cattails whenever we settle. Okay, let's go over here and get some more. A lot of the time, oh geez, I forgot that we're in the river and it's flowing. I'm gonna have to get used to that, man. Maybe I can use that to my advantage in like some sort of automated system, like a Minecraft like water elevator kind of thing. It'd be kind of cool if I could get to that level of expertise with the rivers mod. But yeah, I'm really glad I added it. It adds a level of immersion that I frankly was not necessarily expecting per se. One thing I do note that it is not flowing the items, so it's not used as an item elevator. That seems to be the case. So we'll just remember that, but otherwise it's very immersive for the, like, it reminds me of this survival show I used to watch called Dual Survival, and I remember they had to like cross rivers and stuff. They're like two guys trying to survive in the wilderness, and they would like have to jump in the river upstream just to land somewhere downstream across to the other side, you know? That's what it reminds me of. So let's see, that's 9. How many of these do I want? I mean, quite a few. The problem is it's, as you can see in the upper left-hand corner, it's 245 there. Well, I missed one there. So I don't have like forever, because we will need to figure out a place to sleep for the night at least. Now that can be a trader, but we'll see. During my stream, I also I wanted to mention that I started experimenting with macros. For example, like I'm trying to think of what keys aren't used. But what you could do, for example, is you could do, let's see, is it Control M? Yeah, Control M is macro. Okay, I do have the chunk boundary one, and that's just this. See how that, when I push that button, it changes that to show the chunk boundaries. See that? So that's useful macro. I want to make a couple more. I never thought to do this before, but why the hell wouldn't I make a macro to switch between the different game modes, creative, spectator, and survival? Now the reason that I would want, see, look at, hold on, before I talk to about that, look at that. That's interesting. You can see where the two different directional flows come together, but that's not... That works for me. That is pretty good use of, like, voxel. Like, this is what the game is. It's voxels. It's not like they're pretending that it's all smooth and shit. Okay, why is this... Okay, that's gravel showing up different on the map than the soil and the clay. We found fire clay so far. Fire clay is arguably the better clay, but... And there's peat, which is extremely useful. And can we harvest some of these? So unlike usual, I am actually playing where I'm not even bothering with the berry bushes yet until we find a place to settle down. That was an interesting sound. It must be a critter. Might be that Einkindkin squirrel. Anyway, sorry. So I'm gonna wait to start doing. I do like how these rivers are turning out, I think. But yeah, I'm gonna wait to do the berry bushes until... Oh shoot, I forgot that we're flowing. Until we get a place to settle, and I just have not found a place to settle yet. I'm somewhat picky on that, but not crazy. Like, I usually prefer to have at least a place to start building out my inventory and stuff by the end of the first day. Frankly, I like to settle permanently, more or less, within a few days. And with this river here, okay, let's talk about criteria for settlement, because that's a discussion that we need to have. So probably the main thing is accessibility to important parts of the world, you know. You might also say things like, so, okay, let's just focus on accessibility. So, you know, centralized location would be one. Close to a translocator would be a traditional, especially in vanilla, option. In this case, we might choose to do more toward those teleportation network teleporters, which were the thing we spawned next to. Which I'm not sure if that was a coincidence or not. In fact, I'm going to mark down, we spawned right about here. World spawn. So if we die, we're going to end up right back here. Let me make that white. Or as Bob Ross would say, white. Okay, there's a mountain range there. See, and the other thing from this version of the world map is you can't really see biome or rock strata changes. There's a cow, by the way. It might be nice to be near a cow. It would definitely be nice to be near resources. You know, copper, maybe, I mean, it'd be almost impossible to know whether there's iron. I often find myself starting out next to a ruin because you get like free access to cobblestone and stuff like that. But I honestly have come to realize that I think the best... Let me mark those particular flowers over here, which I have a personal fondness for the lupines in this game. And I only mark the flowers if they're just beetles, okay, or louses. I thought that was copper for a second. We haven't found any copper yet. We haven't really been looking. This looks like it might be a meteoric iron patch. Let me just dig down here. It sure is. Wow. Okay. So that's marked on the map with a blue star, which is great. I rarely find those like so quickly, so that's really nice. Of course, I think I said the exact same thing about one in my stream playthrough, so I'll take that for what it is. Alright, let's get some more of these. So we've got 16. We can make another handbasket. But let's continue our mission to harvest these. And then once we get a full complement of handbaskets, by the way, the lake obviously doesn't flow. It's normal water. So it wouldn't be a bad thing to be next to a lake, which is going to have resources like, obviously the water itself, which is useful for panning, but sometimes it can have seaweed or fish or things like that, and we'll have to see about that. Okay, this is spelt. Probably should be careful about what kind of crops I pick up right now. The flax made sense. The spelt arguably doesn't. All right, here's more lupine. I'll mark that. We're getting these temporal rifts forming. Oh, by the way, let me see if X skills is working. Okay. So X skills, you just push O. O. Okay, X skills is not working. I'm going to have to get to the bottom of that. Let me just go into here and see if there's a X skills. So it might be a control conflict between the button, because I think X skills defaults to O, I believe. I'm not seeing it listed here though. Debugging macros. User interface. X skills hotbar switch. Okay. So at least it's recognizing that X skills is installed. But I don't see, where's the X skills configure character blah blah blah. And again, it's usually just O. Well, I don't see that listed. That could be an issue with this current version of X skills, which wouldn't surprise me, because it is, again, somebody porting this kind of without the author's direct involvement, I think. And maybe, you know, there was a recommendation by somebody, you know, kind of being the more cautious angle to maybe don't use this mod. It's arguably, you got some issues with using a mod without permission, and, you know, I think in addition to that, they didn't say this so much, but I would kind of almost assume that it might be less stable or less well programmed, you know. Okay, let's get... It is getting somewhat dark out. It is early spring, mind you, so the days are still somewhat short. There's another, and we have room for one more of these. I couldn't tell if that was my... I heard this sound, and I couldn't tell if it was like in something in-game, or if it was my cat snoring. Not sure to this moment. Okay, so we're getting... We got 24 of those. I think I'm trying to remember what numbers of those you typically need. I mean, 24 is good. It's like how many you need for a basket. You need 8 times, so you need 16 for a skep. You need... What else do you need? You need 36 for like 6 rope, which comes up more often than you'd think. So 36 might be a good number to aim for initially. I also need to start collecting this grass for making a bed, just in case I don't find one at a trader. I need 24 grass to make a bed. So yeah, like going back to my tutorial mindset. First step, make it a flint knife, which we have. Second step, absolutely should be getting reeds or cattails. Cooper's reed, cattail, whatever you want to call it. And then step 3, I mean, arguably should be getting food. And then step 4 is getting ready for bed. Now, where am I on the map? Let's see. So we really haven't gone crazy distances away from where we spawned, which may or may not be a good thing. And it is getting very noticeably dark out. There's normal clay. I think this might be a good place to set up camp for the night. This is not where we're going to settle, but it's not a bad place to camp because the blue clay gives us something to do overnight. So did you see how I did that? I did 8 grass 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 in a 4 to get those stacks of hay grass, and then I'd put the 3 in a row to make this hay bed. You have to go back and watch, or you just push H and you go to bed in your survival handbook. You click on hay bed, and you can see it's 3 of those in a row, which are made by 8 of the grass that I just harvested. Okay, so we've got that down, and now let's talk about making a fire. So with the extra grass that I have here, I'm gonna shift right click 1 down on the ground, and I'm gonna take 1 in my inventory with 2 sticks. And I'm gonna go like that, and now we have a fire starter. And now we need logs. And so in order to get logs, we need a flint axe. which is just that. So you shift right click the flint on the ground with more than one flint in your inventory, and then you just left click out the voxels that you need to click out, and then you've got yourself an axe. Okay, so we're going to move that there. These berries are good for a couple days, so not particularly terrified that they're going to go bad or anything. Here's some more rye. We've been collecting rye, right? Spelt, turnip, flax. No, we have not. So I'm going to not collect that rye, just out of prudence. Let's get this. We'll just stick with this one. Alright, so this tree will fall and then we'll make it into firewood, basically. We may not make all of it into firewood. We may. We'll see how much we get. And I'm going to just do this one separate. It doesn't matter if you end up having to do it a little bit separate like that. Because it goes a lot faster once the rest of the tree is down. This is just flint. Okay, cool. Alright, so now, okay, we've got a couple sticks. We did not get any pine cones from that, which is just fine. Sometimes you'll get some pine cones. So let's head back to our bed as it's getting even darker still. Although my OBS for some reason is lighter than my actual computer screen. So, alright, so we're gonna go ahead and make this into firewood by putting our axe above it in the crafting grid. Now we've got 32. That's 8 times 4. Firewood. Now we have to put 4 of these immersively down, but then you can actually put the rest of them in. And we're going to take this fire starter, and I'm going to shift right click, and we'll see if we can get this puppy started. I'm just holding it down. Sometimes I feel like if you release and just restart, you get better results. I'm not sure if that matters, but there we go. Okay. And you can, by the way, you can shift control right click, I think it is. Yeah, shift control right click to put that against a wall like that. Okay. Now we've got tons of firewood. One thing we can do is we can make some torches. So that's 2. You need grass. I think you need 2 grass for every stick. I'm not going to make all my sticks into torches, but I'm going to make at least 4 more. Okay, so I'm going to put 8. And that gives me 4 torches. I'll keep the other 8 sticks. That's fine. Now, it's good to have a few torches. First of all, you can place them around in the world and they'll keep the area lit up. But you can also carry one on your offhand, which we'll show you. Like so. And I'll put 2 in the world just to prove that point. So now I've got a fire, which is creating a light source. I've got the torch in my hand, and those 2 torches. Not so different from Minecraft so far, except it's harder already because you have to actually work on getting these things rather than just magically put them in a grid. I'm going to make a flint. Ooh, we're getting a storm already. That's interesting. I'm going to keep my eyes out for that. Very immersive, I will say. That is a very immersive thing to note. But yeah, we're going to do about 1 hour episodes. I'm going to assume there's at least 20 minutes of clutter in my stream here. So we're going to go streaming for about 120. We're at almost 40 now. So we'll edit down the video eventually. But let's grab this shovel here. Give it a stick. And I'm just going to make up... I'm just going to take a stack of clay. Now we don't need... I'm not going to be able to make this clay into anything useful yet. But I'm going to take a stack with me just in case we have trouble finding more later conveniently. Okay, so let me eat something. I'm taking health damage from my lack of food there. Okay. And we do have a rift forming, I just heard it. So we've got to be careful about that because that means we're going to start to encounter drifters. And there's our first drifter. And we are not at all equipped for this. We could use our axe to kind of attack him. But that is a very temporary strategy, and it's not going to be... there's too many of them, so what we need to do is we need to go to bed for the night. And this is just me being reckless and trying to get clay. I can get the rest of that in the morning. It looks like it's maybe starting to rain a little. Okay, let's just go to bed. Yeah, there's that storm in the background. I think they added some stuff to the sky and the storm stuff. Okay, and this drifters will continue to attack you, but time goes by a lot faster up in the upper left corner. And if they get to you and they start harming you, they'll harm you in, like, quote-unquote quasi-real time. But the time will have passed long enough to turn to day, which is going to cause these drifters not to want to be around. By the way, the rain put out the fireplace, which is fine, because then the next time I come back here, we will have some... Okay, there we go. We will have some firewood in the fireplace that we can just use. Now, those drifters that came out of that rift right there were intent on attacking me. Now, since I've killed a couple, I can shift right-click them with a knife and see if they drop anything. The first guy did drop a bit of flax fiber. Okay. So... Oh, Alexa's talking to me. It's one thing when you stream that just kind of happens. So, these guys are obviously annoying, and they're just going to continue to come after me, or whatever, but I'm going to mark that peat on the map there, and we're going to head back that way in just a minute. Let me get a little bit more food source here. Alright. And if you keep combining your food source together, it continues to delay how long it takes until it goes bad. But since it's my only food source that I have, I'm going to start eating it. Now you got to be careful with the torch, because if you do get into deep water, the torch will go out. But you can do shallow water. I'm just going to mark that quartz by clicking on it. Alright, so I'm just going to ignore these drifters. See how I can do shallow water there, but anyway. Okay, here's more reeds, and I do need some more reeds, so we're going to use these. So one way to deal with the torch issue is you can just push X, and it'll switch out of your... It'll switch the current inventory bar in your offhand, if it's eligible to go in the offhand. So as long as you're not holding the torches, if they're just in your inventory, they won't go out in the water. But here, I'll show you. The second I go to this, and if I go down, see how that went out? So now this is useless unless I relight it. And that's pretty easy, you know. You just put it down on the ground, and you get a actual torch that's lit, and you relight it. Now, in my opinion, it is better to keep your torches in at least 2 different piles, and preferably never expose a big pile of torches to the water like that. Okay, how are we doing? 9, and this will be 10. So this will do it for our hand baskets, and this is 32 cattail roots. But I want to get at least a few more roots, but mostly just 24 cattail, just the normal ones now. This will be 2. I mean, I might as well keep getting both components of the thing. There's a lobster right there. I don't know, that's from the Critters mod. I don't know anything about the nature of preparing them for food or anything, but we may look into that as a food source at some point if it's possible. So we're making another knife, which is that. Got some ducks over here, which is kind of nice. I might mark the ducks. I don't know if there's any breeding of ducks or anything. I like the ducks. I think they're a nice... The Critters mod is a nice addition to the game. I don't understand why the mods don't put more, like, background, like, flavor animals like that. You don't even have to make them functional. Like, you don't have to be able to breed ducks. Just put them in the game for flavor. Alright, so there's that. Now we can continue our work. Okay. So again, we need 24 of the cattails. to make a basket, a reed basket. And there's another mod that I use, and almost everybody uses, who plays this game called Carry On, that allows the player to have one large container that they carry with them on their back. And it's kind of similar to the mechanics in this game of carrying on a anvil or a beehive, or the butchering mod makes you do this with animals now. So we'll explain that butchering mod later, but the point is that we're wanting to build up at least 24 more reed to get a big basket that we can put. And I say big, it's only got 8 slots, but keep in mind the hand baskets have 3 apiece, and so if you do 4 times 3, it's only 12. So between the 4 hand baskets and the big carry basket, we're going to have a grand total of 20 additional storage spots, plus the 10 on our hotbar already, which means 30 total, which I know it seems like a lot, but it's not. You really do use that up very quickly. Okay, so there's 24. And now we just do this in a circle like that, and you get your reed basket. Now I'll explain how to wear that in just a minute, but I do want to get the remaining cattail roots until we get a full stack. That way, whenever we settle, we'll always have access to 64, concurrently growing cattails that we can harvest, and we will need to harvest them, I guarantee you. Now, you don't have to do this in your game. If you're playing along and you don't want to go through the tedious work of double harvesting 64 cattails, I understand. I would never blame anybody for not wanting to grind out 64 reeds in real life, or in the game. So maybe just get a handful, or don't even bother transplanting them right away. Maybe wait until later in the game to transplant them. Whatever makes you happy makes me happy. I do not care. I will say, in a pinch, you can also cook the cattail roots, the root part, not the actual cattail, and that will create a tasty food. Alright, as you can see, I still got my torch put away, not holding it out. Here's a ruin. Now, this is, I think, our first one. I did install the Better Ruins mod, so we should get an oh no, it's our second one. We should get an interesting mix of old school and concurrent ruins. What do we get on that one? I think we got some more flax fibers. No, what did we get? I don't even know what we... Oh no, we got it right there. Okay, we actually got the vessel again. Alright, and then this is a tool. Tool is great for this stage of the game. First of all, we just got some rusty gears, which is great. Secondly, let me just eat some of this. We got an extra knife, which is nice. And that's it. So we just got an extra knife and some rusty gears. And I see a trader. Now I think, did I install the trader camp mod? I think I did. But sadly, I think that I'm noticing, even from afar, that the trader is not up to snuff for my standards. I'm marking that ruin with like an orange dealio there. Let's go and grab this food. Okay, we got the whole container again. It's bananas that we're getting so many of those already. Okay, I guess it's time to whip out the clay basket. Let me put that away. Or the reed basket. So what we're gonna do for the reed basket, I'm gonna put those in there. This is, as far as I'm concerned, this food is like perma-food. That never will go bad. Put those in there. I'm gonna avoid any crop now except for the flax. I'm gonna put those in there. I guess I'll put those in there, those and those. Or no, I guess that's it. Okay. So now that we've got all that in there, you can actually, okay, with an empty slot on your toolbar and an empty offhand, you have to shift right click this. Now, stare up into the sky or not connected to a block, and shift right click it again, and it is now on my back, as you can see there. Okay, so that's good. Now the other thing I'm going to do while I'm here is pick up some of this bony soil. We don't need a ton of it right at first, although you can never have too much. The bony soil, we use it to pan, and you can get things like candles and things, some temporal gears, rusty gears. I'd go into more detail, but I don't want to go into a bunch of detail about things we haven't explained yet. So the point is, you just grab a few of those if you can. We'll pan through those relatively quickly into a playthrough. Not seeing any over here. They revised how they did ruins, and they've made it now so that the ruins can have a lot more chisel options and have dirt embedded in some of the chisel blocks, which is kind of cool because you can dig the dirt out of the chisel blocks, and then it's like you're excavating like this. See that? Like you're excavating the ruin a bit, which I like that. I like all the improvements that they've done to ruins. And not getting anything there. I might have accidentally picked up that flower, which is fine. Oh, there's some. So let's go down here and get this. And its friend down here. Okay. So we got about 10, I'd say. Or no, only 6. Is this a meteoric iron? So whenever I say meteoric iron, what I'm referring to is that sometimes in the game you'll get these little craters like this that spawn this special metal that you can't really get from mining traditionally, and it's called meteoric iron. It's great. You definitely want to get that if you can. Let's see, that's spelled. Leave that for now. There's a lot of ruins in this area. We've already marked those. Okay. So let's head down the end of this peninsula. Also, couldn't hurt to get more sticks. I'm noticing that we're not doing great on sticks. Sticks can be harvested in various ways. The main way is attacking leaves like this, especially ones that say branchy leaves, like that one, like this one. Okay, and that will give you sticks. The other primary method to get sticks is finding them under trees or on beaches, laying on the ground. And if they spawn that way, you can go up to them and either left or right click them, and they will detach and allow, potentially into your inventory. Okay, so this is agriculture trader. He would sell me seeds and some food, obviously. Some parchment if I wanted. I could sell him any of this stuff. We'll get into more of that later, but for now just note that he's there. Alright, so we're gonna go across over here now and then head back to where we spawned. We might end up going this way. Let's see. So now we've got to make a decision about how do we cross this. Now, as you can see, here's something. I like how they put a different rock type of gravel here. Oh wow, there's a lightning strike. That's a 1.19 lightning strike. Okay, so did I just like skid on this moss? Oh yeah, the moss acts like ice. That's cool. That's cool. I've never had moss before. Can I pick it up? This is a rivers mod thing. That's cool. I can pick it up. Alright. Well, let me mark it. Moss. Green. A little thing there. Okay. So, as you can see, this flows, clearly. And this flows. This block flows. These blocks flow. These blocks do not. So there's like some level of flow, and then I presume it stops at some point. Maybe. But either way, we don't necessarily want to be way out in the middle of the ocean with no ability to get back, other than swimming around to where it doesn't flow any longer. I just marked that blue clay as well. So we're going to go over here and try to cross the river upstream. Like I said earlier, so that we don't end up shot out into the ocean, although we're doing a good job potentially of doing it. Look, poor little rabbit. Actually, the rabbits may not be affected by the flow yet. I'm not sure, but either way, I do remember the rivers mod for Terra Firma Craft, and animals would definitely get stuck in those flows, so something to keep in mind. Okay, so we made it to the other side now, and I'll go ahead. There's the mushrooms. I'm gonna go ahead and head back to where it all started. There's flax. Again, the reason I'm obsessing about flax, just as anybody that's played this game knows, the game places an undue amount of importance on flax early in the game, but also even in the late game. It's very important. So, since it's one of the most important resources, it's one that I have learned that it's best to start collecting early and often if possible. Here's spelt. I'm not going to bother with that. We'll get some more blackberries. This game has 5 different types of berry. Oops, let me just mark this real quick. This is just peat, so I'm marking that. And the other thing about marking things on the map like that, I say I just punched it to mark it with the auto map marker. By the way, there's another mod that used to exist, I'm not sure if they're going to update it, called Campaign Cartographer. And that one did something similar. But I like this auto map marker mod because you do have to like interact with most things to map it. And so you can, there's a little bit of like on the fly decision making about whether to map something by just interacting with it. See, for example, I just made that happen on the map, you know? Okay, here's our spawn area. There's more flax. The good news is we're going to have a big old flax farm whenever we do settle down. Hopefully I can get settled by, you know, tomorrow in-game. We are coming up at the 1 hour mark on the stream, which means probably another 20 or 30 minutes. Maybe this episode will be a little bit longer because it's an initial episode. It might be better to be on the safe side and go a little bit deeper. I know that this is a chert basin. And you do get chert. I'm not sure if it's from the Rivers mod or what, but you get chert along here to some extent. And that might be natural generation, but I'm thinking it's probably the Rivers mod doing something. I'm curious how that will continue to feature into the world gen. I did my first 1.19 world without the Rivers mod, and I'm sure that I won't use the Rivers mod for all time. I mean, who knows? Maybe I will. Maybe they'll integrate it into that base game. But for now, I'm just kind of like trying it out. And so far, I like it. I think it's great. Oh, and they've got that new ambient rain sound. So when I was in the water, see how the rain changes to be more subdued? And now it's more crisp. That's a new thing for 1.19. By the way, there's a nice big sea, I'm going to call this a sea arch, right? Now let me be precise about where it is. Okay, so this one right across is not it. This one is. This is the sea arch. And I like to mark beautiful like nature things on the map. This would be a compelling place to build like a castle. The only thing that is holding me back from doing so is I'm concerned about the lack of resources in the area. Not to say that there aren't resources, but andesite isn't exactly the most resource heavy strata, and we just haven't seen things like a village yet, or at least in one trader camp. I'm very, this is one of the reasons why I was very skeptical of keeping the map this sing-songy fairy story book cover thing. I thought that it would interfere with my ability to see things. Let's see what this is. Like, these are very ambiguous things. One wonders if the game is trying to guide players in the direction of getting away from the relatively easy to see map and moving them into the more difficult to see map, just to be to make the game a little bit more challenging in its default settings. I'm not sure, or if they just thought it looks so beautiful we have to have it. Not sure which of the two motivations it was, although I suspect it was one of those two motivations. Marking that heat, marking this quartz, not getting this spelt. Okay, so we're coming up upon the first ambiguous thing on the map here, and it's just right up here, and it looks to be just is it the waterfall that we're seeing, or what? I enjoy coming across all this flax. Yeah, it's the waterfall. That's it. Okay, so that's interesting. One thing I'm concerned about is whether and to what extent the rivers mod is interfering. See, because I've got... If I go to controls again... I'm just seeing if there's a VS Village entry in here. It may not be. Here, I tell you what, I know how to find out. Yeah, so these villagers are from VS Village. We know that the mod is properly loaded in. The question is, did I do something with World Gen to detract from villages spawning? Because when I did a fairly vanilla world with that mod in my stream, there were just tons of villages. And although I'm not, I wouldn't say I'm at all dependent on VS Villages. You know, they're nice, but they're not crucial. Yeah, and it's nice to be out from that rain too. It really this game does a great job of making you feel like the weather has changed or whatever, you know? But anyway, so yeah, I'm not sure if I did something to interfere with the villages mod, or if I'm just getting a particular generation that doesn't have a lot of villages. It's conceivable that one of my mods interfered, or it's conceivable that by putting it at 80% land coverage with whatever the scalability thing I did was, that I've done something to make villages, you know, significantly less likely, or maybe even impossible to spawn. Who knows? Anytime I harvest a mature flax, I get, I think, between 1 and 3 flax fibers, so just got 2 from that one. Problem is that most of the time when you come across little patches of crops, only like 1 or 2 of them will be mature. Probably not even, like, maybe 1. Okay, here's a village. Okay, so I was just talking about this. I'm very pleased to say that this village exists, which means that it is loading in properly. Okay, and we've got a few goodies that we could take. We could take this bread, for example, these crocks, this cooking pot, this firewood. I'm not going to take any of it. I could take the bed too. But I don't like to do that too much. Let's see, they've got beds in here. And then we've got a little campfire with a brazier, which is nice. And then they've got growing crops here. So, you know, this is a little farming village. I'm going to mark it on the map with that symbol. Village. And it is a village, let's be very clear. It's not a town or a city or anything. It is a little village. So, possible settlement places now would include the Sea Arch, which is not bad. This village. I'm seeing some river systems here. A little goofy, but whatever. They're not bad. I wouldn't mind settling on the river. So I think I'm going to go north and follow this big river around. Let me just check and see if there's anything else in the village that I might want. I'm very tempted to take this wooden bucket, I must say. I'm not going to take it, but I got to be honest, I'm real tempted to take it. Because it's a little bit, well, not that far. You have to get a saw before you can get a bucket normally, so. What I could do is I could plant my flax in their farm, come back for it later. It's not a bad idea. Because it's going to be a minute until there's only 4 seeds. Likely will pan out later, because I will almost certainly be back to this village. And look at this beautiful flower patch they've got here at the village. Okay. And there's some tule. I learned how to pronounce this. It's tule. I learned that on a stream once. Okay. It is 4:30. We've got just a couple hours until night starts to kick in. So let's head this direction and follow this river. We may cross it yet again. This river is important. This is a big river. Let's see. This looks like, yeah, this is a meteoric iron deal. Okay. And the Swevite stone I can put back. We'll come back. I'll explain that later, but, you know, for those who have played, you know what that is. Alright, here's a nice little mossy island. I love the moss block, that it just acts like ice. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Moss is slippery as hell. I'm pretty sure I've injured myself slipping on moss at like a boat ramp or something before. It's a little cave, nothing doing there. I'm not gonna mark it. I mark caves with pink dots typically. I gotta be careful about that because the new auto tracking of prospector pick things is here's another trader. Is this the luxurious trader? Yeah, it looks like the traders camp mod did not come in. Just gonna be honest about that. So this is luxuries. I love luxuries because that's cool. That's cool. But they also sell that's cool too. They sell like what do you call it? The resonance thing that you play your discs on, which is I think the only place, one of the, maybe there and a couple dungeon type places you could find that. So okay. And also one other thing you find is these aged logs along the river mod, which I appreciate. It's the only place you can get aged logs without like naturally spawning, other than buildings in like a dungeon or something. Boy, that river is fierce. I do want to get over there, I really do. But I feel like I should finish connecting up this place to that place here. I got a little glitch there, a little freeze there. Okay, and we're getting boars. I rarely mark this many animals on the map, but I found it useful because, frankly, I'm not sure if they changed the spawning rates of animals, but I'm getting less animals than I'm used to. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I'm gonna have to consolidate those if I, yeah, let's just consolidate those now. That's spelled. Well, I might as well consolidate that too, because I'm already collecting something that's in my bag. Alright, so we'll get these and put these here. Okay, whatever. Let's have these 2 turnips, and then what you want to do is go ahead and shift right click. Okay, now we can put these in here. And they'll just stack with the other ones that we had. We can consolidate all these berries, start eating those. Okay. Alright, the bag is back on the backpack there. That's going to be rye. Okay. Got little bunnies, and what is this? I haven't found any fruit trees yet, surprisingly. It's amazing how different the worlds can be. Now, granted, I put some different configuration settings, so maybe that's part of it, but I also just think it's just random, like, good code that's, like, pretty diverse, and you get different, you know, types of places that generate. Alright, now I very clearly need to start harvesting grass for the night. Again, we need... Oh, shit, that scared me. They made the boars mildly aggressive in this build, especially if they have young nearby. I think only if they have young nearby. Again, I need 24 grass, and I'm not going to bother with fire making this time, because I've already got a few torches, and I basically want to get through the night so I can continue my search for a place to settle down. So 24 grass, pretty easy to get. Incidentally, this is the Thule thatch, and that can be used to make roofing and oh no, okay, never mind. Yeah, you just get it back from harvesting roofs, so it's just basically bundled and more concentrated grass, I think. Okay, here's a cave. And I thought I was hearing something. The drifters like to throw rocks at you. That's just what they do. And it's annoying, but it is what it is. Alright, so I saw something up here. It looks like maybe ruins. So maybe I'll go up here to spend the night and just check those out. Full hunger bar. 2 days worth of a full stack of berries. So we're good on those kinds of supplies. I don't really want these. I've got a decent amount already. Okay, here's andesite cobble ruins. Okay, I will take the bony soil for sure. And let's mark one of those flowers. And I'll mark the ruins in general here. You can kind of see them on the map with these little, like, right angles. But it's far less easy to see that on this map than it was on the old type of map. Just be straight up with you on that. And I don't know which is better yet. I'm trying to give this a chance. So, we'll see. Let's get rid of these extra flowers that we don't need. I wouldn't mind having a full, 20 or 30 of these bony soils before we settle. It's, the more the merrier, frankly. Okay, so let's get rid of that soil. We don't need that. And we did lose our shovel just then. You can certainly hand dig these up. It just takes about twice as long. Okay, let's try that. We got the seeds this time. We did not get the vessel. We got rice seeds. Rice seeds cannot be found in nature, I think. Or maybe, yeah, I think that's right. So you need to find them in a vessel like that. Okay, there's some more bony soil. So this is what I would consider to be a partially harvested ruin now. I mean, look, if I completely harvested it, I would take everything. So I'm going to change it from orange to yellow, which to me, in my mind, means partially harvested. Now, you can develop your own color coding system. That's interesting. Aged, polished, andesite. Looks so cool in this nighttime kind of lighting. But yeah, most people have their own color coding system that they come up with, and I've never met any two people that had the same system. So do what you're gonna do. One thing I'm looking forward to is the Better Ruins mod does tend to generate the translocator towers and things, which gives the world more translocators. So as we get to see more and more of the Better Ruins generation, we'll get to see more of those. I'm gonna go ahead and sleep for the night now. It's about 8 o'clock. These beds give you about 7 hours, so if you do the math on that, that's 8 plus 7 is 15, minus 12 is about 3 o'clock in the morning. So the sun rises in the summer around 4 or 5 in the morning, so it's pretty close. So we'll go ahead and just go to sleep for the night. That's right, I forgot my friend was going to Chicago for the weekend to see Madonna. I just got a Snapchat about it. Okay, sorry about that. Now let's we are rested, and it is 4 o'clock in the morning. Little bit dim out still. By the way, where did we rest the first night? It's down here, wasn't it? I think it's like right over here. I'm gonna make a marker every time we rest. Sorry, I was hearing like a noise. I think it's background noise from like nature in this game. Okay, so I've got a little campsite down there, and I'm gonna make a little campsite here. That way, if we're ever out in the wilderness, we need a little place to rest, we'll know that there's places. Plus, we found two traders? Yeah, we've got the ag trader and the luxuries trader. Plus, we have the village here. This is not very bright. Let's make the village orange. All right. I got a little mountain range here. I do like this interior lake. That could be beautiful to look at. I was really liking what I was seeing over in these plains, though. So I think for today, cross this river, go along here, look at these plains, evaluate that site for possible colonization. Okay, so we're just going to pop over here. Now, I will get my torch out once we get across the river. But just note that the rivers are a little bit trickier to cross when you got the current. And that's going to really incentivize some bridge building later in the game. Okay, so we've made it to this little corner of the world now. This is a little junction, or a little confluence of the rivers. And then we've got this tiny little mountain range. We're going to go around it. I am kind of... do you think maybe I'm biased against andesite because it's a New World stone strata, and I'm such a Eurocentric person when it comes to like history and stuff, that I'm like excluding the possibility of having a robust game with the andesite biome? Hard to say. I doubt it, but it is pretty, especially when combined with certain logs and things. Oh, I need to get my torch, sorry. One thing I will say is that it has, like, the rocks in this game have very distinctive looks, and you get used to them, and you kind of understand the aesthetic quality of them. Andesite is a very specifically blue tinted rock. Peridotite is a specifically green tinted rock. Granite is like whitish gray tinted rock. I mean, all rocks are kind of gray, right? And then you got your limestones and your chalks and your marbles that are all white. You got your slates and your shales that are dark, black, or gray. Oh, here, I need to start marking these resins. In fact, I harvest that. Okay. I'll go ahead and eat this grain. Get it out of my inventory. Here's some sticks, by the way. Like I mentioned, they can sometimes spawn on the ground. You just right-click those, and they make that cute little sound. Okay, so we're getting up to the area that I thought looks cool from the other side of the riverbank. So we'll go ahead and take a look up here. And there is a cave. Caves are the only thing that I can't, like, auto do. Although, you know what I did remember seeing Control-Shift-M? Enable hotkeys to add customizable map markers. Now, custom. Icon. That, let's go pink. And the name we're going to give those is cave. Unexplored. Okay, we'll save that. And so now I need to figure out the control to do that. So I guess I'll go to controls. And it's probably going to have, let's see, Xskills hotbar switch journal. I may need to get online and figure out why I can't get on Xskills. Okay, but then show hide minimap interaction overlay. It's in. Interesting. What I need to do is look up how to do the okay, auto map marker config is Control-Shift-M, right? Control-Alt keypad 1. Okay, that's a lot. Control-Alt-1. Okay, it actually worked. Okay, do you see that? So Control-Alt-1. I'm going to write that down because I'm going to forget the first few times. Control-Alt-1 equals auto cave. Okay, so now we have a really quick and easy way to make cave markers. Let's go check this thing out. Looks like a ruin. This is the exact area that I thought was pretty beautiful. And sure enough, it is. So what do we get? We got turnip seeds. Great. Lovely. Alright, well, I'm going to mark this as ruin. We'll come back to that. Okay, so it is lovely, but it's not lovely enough. This looks, well, hold on. Let me just give it a fair chance. Okay, I like how plainsy it is. I do. And I like that it's on the river. I like that. I like that there's these fun little places in the background. Plenty of peat nearby. Some cattails. Ooh, that cave opening looks awesome. Big cave opening, a sort of middle of the river formation there. I'm going to mark this ruin here. But I'm not satisfied that I want to settle here. I'm not seeing a single fruit tree. Isn't that weird? On my other playthrough with just slightly different world settings, I had like a boatload of fruit trees, and on this one we have like none. I mean, I could build here. I don't like the mountain blocking the sun though. I think I'd rather be on that sea arch than here. Okay, let me try this here. Is it Control-Alt-1? Sure is. Okay. I do like... Oh, that's kind of cool. How the sun is slowly working its way with this reflection on the river. That is a neat thing. Okay, the river is like going under this mountain. So this is like arches. So I'm gonna mark that. Alright. So, looking up north, there is a little bit... I mean, that mountain range seems to continue right on top of that river. It's an interesting little aspect to that river's mod. But I really do think I need to go north. Alright, let's try that. Yeah, this is like part of my video that I'm definitely going to edit for the recording. And I've already got about as far as I said I was going to get. That's a humongous cliff, isn't it? Interesting. And it's like sheer too. Whoops. A little flag spike here. Rain probably doesn't help with that. And the height of the world, of course, doesn't. Okay, Control Alt 1. Okay. Tell you what, I need to go pee really bad, so I'm gonna keep streaming and recording, and I'll edit it. But in just a minute, I'm gonna have to. I'll resume my travel. And I can keep talking while I'm peeing too. Fortunately, my computer and my bathroom are very close by, as any good streamer's setup should be. Yeah. So, yeah, Andesite, I don't remember playing very much. I'm gonna try to force myself to give the Andesite a chance, though. And I think when I finally do compile this video, there's gonna be a lot of cuts towards the second half, because a lot of the filler here is just me looking around for a good site to settle. So maybe I just keep streaming this and recording until I settle, and then I just cut it down dramatically when I compile it for the video. It's getting a little bit chilly in my apartment too. Let me grab my... I think I have sweet tarts over here somewhere. They're there. So I'm going to turn on my space heater. I probably will... See, I've been working on, like, improving my computer rig. For the longest time, I had a pretty good setup, and I figured this particular microphone was just fine. But I've got a much better microphone, and I haven't really tried to make it work for a long time. And I think maybe now is the time to really give that a go. So, I probably will get a better microphone. Okay, so this is Ruins. Oh, you know what? I should make the Ruins one too. Hold on. What was it? Control Shift M. No, we'll do the second one, and this one will do Ruins. I'm gonna do a third one too. All right. So the Ruins are gonna be orange, and this is Surface Ruins. That should be very clear. Surface Ruins. And then what I do for Underground Ruins is I do the Cracked Vessel symbol, and I typically do orange, but let's actually do, for Unexplored Underground Ruin, let's do something different than orange, because we have that come up with fire clay. So let's do we'll do purple. No, we'll do red. And this is Underground. Okay, so I'm going to save that. And I'm assuming, by the way, Control Alt 2. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so we succeeded in getting that Ruins. We're basically doing a macro through the mod. That's really what we're doing for a map marker. I wonder if you could do a macro without the mod to do that kind of stuff. I bet you could. I bet there's a way. There's probably commands like add map marker. Here's an ore vessel. I'm going to go ahead and take that. There's our first bits of copper, and that's really useful because as everybody who's played this game knows, you need 40 copper nuggets to get into the Copper Age proper. And you gotta start getting them without a pickaxe, so that's 1/5 of my requirements there. Okay, so I was just getting a little bit of that ruined or bony soil. Oh, here's some blue clay. There's a little cow sleeping there, cute. I don't have a shovel anymore. Let's get a shovel. Yeah, but anyway, if you didn't have this mod and you wanted to make little macros for making to do the little map markers, I'm sure there's a map marker in here. If you just go help, and then you go to holding Alt, you can scroll up, and let's see, where is map marker? I mean, there's probably a command somewhere that says add map marker, right? So I would have to look through this, but the point is, there's probably a way to do it. And oh yeah, there's the world config thing too. Oh, here it is. Oh no, sorry, that's not right. Oh, here it is, waypoint. So yeah, you just do a macro with this command, waypoint, and then what did I do? Well, you might have, there's probably an argument. Here, I'll show you. Help waypoint. Type help waypoint subcommand for help. Okay, here we go. So it gives me all these. So you can add color, title, probably icon. Add the TI. Add waypoint to the map. Okay, it's waypoint add ATI. That is icon, position, pinned, color, title. So you can do all those arguments with this one. So you could do a macro that you kind of set up for those specific things. I might demonstrate that later, but I think that for now I'm not going to take the time. My point is that you don't need the mod to do that, but oh shit. This fucking asshole. I want that bony soil, dude. Oh, he got me again, okay. Not good. Those are somewhat serious disparagements of my health. Okay, that's nice. They gave me a boatload of flax twine and some more lettuce seeds. Let's consolidate the lettuce seeds at least, and actually we could maybe even, we could probably put, oh shit, the torch went out. Alright, turn up, we'll consolidate, and then what was I gonna put in here? I was gonna put something else in. Well, whatever. I mean, we've got enough in there already. Oh, maybe the rice seeds. Oh no, the oh, it's gonna put the vessel, but we didn't get the vessel. Okay, so that's fine. And might as well light this back up and make that useful. It went out in the rain, obviously. Okay, but ironically, holding it doesn't put it out. Just it being on the ground out puts it out. All right, so this harbor looks interesting to me. It wouldn't, you know, every time I play this game, I have these grandiose visions of like building up to like a harbor and like a castle and like the civilization kind of mentality. And I rarely get around to that, but let's see if I can do it this time. Move our torch to our hand there, or our inventory out of our offhand. Cross this river over to here. Okay. Okay, that's a boar. I definitely haven't been marking all the animals, especially the cows. Oh god. I was trying to mark him on the map and he came plowing at me. Boar. Boars are one of the more not as useful animals. I usually do the boar ones in blue. Or the animals in blue, that is. Okay, and it's 11:30, so we got plenty of time. Keep looking around. This is a little island here. I haven't settled on an island in a while. I did on a multiplayer server that I found very edifying, very fun. And I wouldn't mind doing that again sometime. It's just, I don't know if we're going to have the luxury this time of doing that. We'll see. Okay, so... What appealed to me about here is that there's these two kind of chunks of this lake. There's this chunk here, and then there's this side that kind of goes out this way. And they're both kind of like harbors. I mean, you could put a fleet in there. And are they river mod chunks? No, they're staple waters. I think it turns into a river here, but these are nice and stable water flows. And in fact, this one is particularly scenic. We seem to be on a plains going next to a potentially a forest, next to blue clay, which is always very nice. Some things are starting to add up for a potential settlement. As we get into 3rd of May, we are getting higher temperatures. It's really hard to say how far north we are. You have to kind of get a gauge for that as you play this game. Here's kind of the edge of this harbor. There's a walnut tree. These are somewhat hard to find. I'll mark this one maybe. Walnut. They're of the types of trees that spawn in this area, somewhat harder to find than your maples, pines, and oaks, and birches. There's a deer, I think. I mean, I could see myself settling here, but it's just not quite beautiful enough. Okay, I finally found a fruit tree. Part of the reason I'm not finding fruit trees is because of this map being different. But I'm gonna keep... Oh, that's not a fruit tree, it's a birch tree. Damn. Never mind. Okay, so we did just get a new shovel and a new axe. And I will probably hang on to these. Alright. Oh, I have a thing. What was it? Control-Alt-2? Yes. Okay. Now. Okay. Let me... I'm like on the verge of giving up on this map. It's really hard. It's really different to do it this way, but I'm gonna keep trying. We'll see. Alright. So see, I wouldn't mind ending up over here because I'm really thinking this is like the best looking place on the map so far. I can always switch back. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. And this is like something I should make a macro about too. Oh, and here we go, Control-Alt-1, okay. You can make macros in World of Warcraft 2 and stuff, but the game pretty much does it all for you. This one, at least, there's some creativity with the commands that you can still work on. Okay, so you gotta remember the command. I think it's world config color accurate map true. All right. World config help. Sorry, it's help world config. So this is how you would look this up. So you go to Yeah. Okay, but that's not what I want. Help. Let's just do help. I know the command. I just can't remember how to put the argument in. World config. Yeah. Okay. World config. Okay. Okay. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Okay, and the color accurate map argument is here. It is. Color accurate world map. It's world map. Okay, that's it. Okay, so world config color accurate world map. Okay, I think do I have to do true? World config color accurate world map true. Okay, okay, that's it. Okay, so let's do a macro now, and we're gonna go. We'll do this one. Map toggle, and hotkey is gonna be Control Alt M. Control Alt M. Command world config color accurate world map true. Okay, I can't copy and paste that. So I'm going to go to save that. And then this one is going to be map toggle 2 hotkey Control Alt N. Command is going to be world config color accurate world map false. Okay, so fun. All right, we'll get out of the macros, and now if we do Control Alt N, value set to false, restart the game world, and I do M true. Sweet, that is, both of those are working. So now all we got to do is restart the game, and we'll have the color accurate world map. So let's do that real quick. And just so you know, my computer is running so much better this time around with regard to storage space. Obviously, we're a little delayed on the save and quit here, but overall, it's doing a lot better than it had been on the on the previous streams. My cat is saying hello. Okay, there we go. Now we'll go ahead and pop back in. Little kitty. Hi. Okay, I'm gonna, while this is loading, I'm gonna go ahead and check. Boy, that's taking up a lot of my computer's thinking power there, but let me check one thing real quick. Why is my cat so talkative? I guess it's because he's a freaking Siamese cat. God bless him. Okay, so on the map page, on the mod page, Okay. Sorry, I was getting distracted while we were loading back in. Clearly, I'll edit this out. All right, so the cat, come on. I'm recording here. Come on. Clearly, it is taking a little while. Okay, looks like it's trying to load in. Here we go. And now, as you can see, the dramatic difference, and that is that the world map, it's taking a minute to catch up here, but and you can see the edge of it directly there. So, yeah. I don't know. I mean, this Sing-Songy map is kind of nice, but this is so much more accurate. Alright. It'd be really interesting if I suddenly noticed that this was just taking up boatloads of additional space compared to the other one. Because that would really prove a particular... Look, if that was a problem because of the color accurate world map taking up space, first of all, I'd report it to the people because that wasn't the case in previous versions. But then secondly, I would absolutely play with the duller version of the map until they got to the bottom of it. But that'd be a real shady thing to do if they did it on purpose, to like make people play with the new map by creating memory leaks on the old type of map. I will say that I'm getting some lag spikes more, but I think we had that problem when we first loaded into the world earlier, and I don't think it had anything to do with the world map. Okay, so this is... just checking to see if that was a meteoric iron thing. Okay. So, let me do this journal entry style. Day 57. Searching up and down the river. No sign of civilization. No sign of a good place to settle either. Unfortunately, we were flanked by these dreary mountains. Cat. Why is my cat interrupting my old-timey journalist voice? Okay. No sign of civilization. Flanked by dreary mountains on either side. Nonetheless, we believe there's probably a good place to settle nearby, and we will continue looking. Journal entry, day 58. I've overwhelmed the oxen carrying the cart of my supplies by stocking it with too many flax seeds. But I know, as many wise settlers once told me, that you're gonna need a ton of flax. So you might as well bring some seeds. Alright, he's got one. I don't really need the grain, I guess. So we are heading to this area. Obviously the map's going to fill in differently as we go. Let me just real quick test my very, very unscientific concern about map size. So we've gone down about 0.03 gig since I reloaded in, which it's really kind of not that much, but at the same time it's maybe a little bit more than had been. So I wonder about if that is a possible explanation for what's going on here. Okay, Control Alt 1. I'm just gonna very carefully monitor don't know why that froze. Carefully monitor what happens with this map and the world size as we go. Oh, this song, by the way, has been in the game for a long time, but it has... Oh, here's copper. I was wondering when I was going to finally find some copper. Yeah, this song has been in the game for a while, and it was the one that used to freak me out when I first started playing. I have these great memories when I first started playing this game of like sitting back and like figuring this shit out, being terrified of the lore, and I was also just listening to like true crime podcasts at the time. Do you remember, by the way, if for others who have, oh, there's 3 resin there, that's nice, getting a nice collection there. For others who have been playing for a while, when they used to have the long blade, and they changed it to the Falch blade or whatever. Yeah, I'm getting a lot more lag spikes. It's hard to say if that's related to the map or not. It might well be. And if that is the case, then yeah, and so far my file size has not increased at all since the last time I updated you on that. But yeah, if the lag is being caused by the map rendering so much info, then wow, that's an interesting gravel formation here. Okay, so if that is the case, then ooh, more copper. If that is the case, then that would be one argument for using the new map system, is performance. And you could always like remap things later once you've like explored a place. Oh, I just realized that we're getting close to nightfall again. Jeez. Well, this is where I wanted to end up, so we're basically there. I guess we better, unless we find a trader, which is going to be a lot easier now, frankly. And we've already been here. Okay, interesting. I'm trying to remember when we were up here. Oh, that's where this is where we came the first night. So interesting. Okay, so let's take a right. I guess I could go spend the night at my old base. It'd be fairly easy. Oh, and I was looking for a trader too. Okay, we've got the pinwheel of death now. Yeah, it's just lagging quite a bit. So on this map, a trader is gonna look like a little brown box with little stripes on it. And I wish I had an example to show you, but my 2 traders are here and here in the old section of the map, so I can't show you. But let's okay, hold on. I was gonna turn right. Okay. Oh, should I go down? No, it's quite a ways away. We're best off making a new camp up here. Okay, so new camp. Let's get our knife out, and we're gonna get some grass. I'm gonna get rid of this thatch. We don't need it. Okay, there we go. And that is enough for a bed. Alright. Probably consolidate some of these cranberries. And let's just go up here a little ways before we sleep. Oh, this lag is killing me. I honestly think it is the map. I mean, that's the one. I mean, frankly, I could exit the game and then restart the game. It's not a bad idea, frankly. Yeah, my file size has not increased or decreased. Alright, let's restart the game. There's going to be a lot of editing on this first video. Okay, let's quit this. I will say that my new monitor is working great. I'll wait for that to clear out. Let the tubes kind of clear out, you know, blah, blah, blah. And we'll go ahead and restart the old game. Grab my cat and put him in my lap so he doesn't feel left out. Okay, much better, much faster. All right. Let me get a pillow so my cat can rest on the pillow. It's gonna be more comfortable for him, I think. Okay. Here you go, kitty. He likes being with me. He's very much, tell you what, let me... Well, that didn't work. Oh, I guess it did. Except for my cam isn't on. Well, there we go. Here's my cat. Alright. Going back to the game. But anyway, yeah, my cat's such a daddy's boy, you know? He's absolutely 1000% dependent on me and just completely emotionally attached to me, which is great for most purposes. Alright, so, here we go. Just give me 1 second here. Ooh, there's a fun little noise. I'm sure it's a little critter. Okay, this seems to be going a lot faster already. I'm sensing that it's more normal. For some reason, it just kind of felt not normal a moment ago, and that got darker all of a sudden. Did you see that? Like, really quite a bit dark. Oh, shoot. I had that in the offhand. Okay. So, when you do that, that's why we have extra torches. I think I actually downloaded a mod that lets you relight your torches more easily, but, okay, where am I at? I'm actually really close to the area that I wanted to be at. So I'm going to put a little camp here. And put that down, and we can relight that now. Let's just leave that there. And the other thing we could do is we could leave our extra axe and shovel here. This needs two? Okay. I don't get why it would need two, but fine. So you can like lean. Oops, I didn't want to take that one. I want that one. You can shift control right click these objects. And now we've got a little extra couple tools here if we ever come back here. Let's take a look at our food situation. These are going to perish in less than a full day. So let's eat a few now. We'll eat a few in the morning. Okay, let's go ahead and hop into bed. Get a few hours of shut-eye. Okay. And it is very clearly morning. Now this will burn out eventually if I just leave it here, but I think it's fine. Alright, I'm going to be honest. This area is not beautiful. This area might be. This area is not beautiful. It's right here. It's not bad. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's not a bad, horribly ugly place. It's just not what kind of standard I want to, like, set. when I talk about the most beautiful place to settle in this area. Ooh. Scout fell in there. Okay, Control Alt 1 for that. And we got this ancient log here. Here's some more copper. Might as well be getting that. If you're out doing what I'm doing, exploring and looking for the perfect place to set up, you should definitely, if you can, get copper while you're out. In fact, I've almost got enough copper to really start copper tools almost right away. So all this exploration, it's been a lot, but it's definitely resulted in some good things. Here at Baby Wolf. There he is, and there's the mom. Let's avoid that. I do have all the taming mods that are available so far, which are basically cats and wolves, and there's one that might have been bears too. Okay, blueberries I'm gonna take. I'm gonna start taking these bushes. Partially because we're close to where I think we might settle, but almost as importantly, blueberries are hard to find. They're more of a forest bush, and thus you tend to get them when you're deeper in harder terrain. I don't think it was a squirrel. I thought it was a wolf attacking me or something for a second. My point is that because they're harder to find or harder to access, it can be advantageous to take them as you go, if you have the space, which we arguably just barely do. And then we can start eating them as well. Okay, so we're going to go investigate now this other part of the lake over here, whose beauty has yet to be determined. There's a donkey. Let me mark that. And I'm marking all terrestrial animals in blue. There's cranberry again. Cranberry stays good for longer than other berries, especially the currants, which stay good for the least amount of time, I believe. Okay, so we've got full hunger. Okay, that is a humongous mountain. So one of the reasons I thought this might be a beautiful place is because it was clear, even on the sing-songy, whenever I say the sing-songy version of the map, I mean the non-color accurate map. You know what I mean? Like the one that's now the default. On that map, even on that less clear map here, you can still see the giant ice caps of that mountain. And kind of like that. So let's consider, yeah, I think this is going to be the place. I really do. It's very pretty. We've got access to a calm body of water. Sorry, I don't know why I pause when it pauses. This lake is a calm body of water, but yet, right here, we have access to a river, which is awesome. So we're kind of on this like bank of both of them. I'm just gonna peek down here, but I really think like right in here somewhere is gonna be the ticket. And I can also see what appears to be I want to say granite on top of slate, possibly strata. I'm not sure about that, but that we'll definitely come to find out what that is in a little bit. Oh, here's a fruit tree. Okay, that's a cherry tree, so I'm gonna go ahead and mark it as red. See, I got all the fruit trees the default to the same color scheme for being marked. But boy, that is crazy that the first time I come across a fruit tree is like the one place I want to settle. Could be Mother Nature telling me something. Okay, and obviously just, you know, for whatever it's worth, I told you we had to have 40 copper. We don't have that yet, but we have so much other stuff we can do besides copper working that I suspect we'll get 40 by the time this is all said and done. Okay, we could also note that anything along this area is pretty reasonable, and I want to come over here and see how reasonable this area would be to settle. Again, we've got this fairly large river. I'm really excited to be doing bridge working. I mean, I really want this series to emphasize a lot on building, which I believe is my best skill, but also kind of one of those skills that it's really easy to neglect until you get like advanced, because like from an efficiency standpoint, you're mostly trying to advance through the ages a little bit, and it's really easy to just think, well, I'll start doing building once I get the steel, you know? But I want to try to avoid that. Okay, we may have to... Okay, I took my torch out of my hand. Alright. It would also be really nice to see a trader somewhere over here. I don't see one right over here, but let's hop on over. Oh, and maybe a teleportation network link to get to. I almost thought that was one of those for a second. That little mound. That is one drawback of this site. Even though it's very beautiful, it is not specifically very close to a teleportation link. So maybe it'll be close to a translocator that will take us close to a teleportation link. Because the teleportation links are basically a fast travel system that's obviously part of a mod there, but Control Alt 1. I'm really liking this mod pack. It's really playing nice. It's not bugging out with errors yet. I cross my fingers, knock on wood. But yeah, I just think it's functioning really well. Alright, I'm gonna go up here and then I'm gonna kind of come like that. That's what we're basically gonna do. And then we're gonna pick a spot. So if I come up here, and we're continuing to get more and more flax. So whenever I edit this video down for YouTube, it's gonna be funny because there's gonna be like just boatloads of flax, and it's like you're gonna be able to see that slowly accumulating. And you can kind of tell that I've spent a lot more time than the video is gonna let on, just from that. Ooh, I thought that was cypress for a second. Okay, so by the way, this game has like, oh wow, there's 10. Sweet. Okay, we've got 10. 10 is a huge deal because 10 is what you need to get bronze, which is the next step after copper, and it's so much rarer than copper. So to find a surface deposit like that is pretty much all you need to get to the copper, or to the Bronze Age from the Copper Age. And yeah, that's gonna be super helpful. And there were quite a few pieces on the surface there. I mean, 9 cassiterite nuggets is enough for 90 bronze nuggets. Yeah, that's 10%, or like call it 91. So in that scenario, you'd have, well, I guess that's just one bronze ingot. But the point is, if you get one bronze ingot just from the surface, you're gonna have a lot more from the deposit itself, which we're going to get to, and which you can mine with just a copper pickaxe, which we will have by the time we do that. Okay, this is actually a really nice plateau over here too. I kind of want to check that out before I come back to where I think I'm going to settle. So let's do that real quick. We'll take a look at the map here in a second too. Yeah, I'm really glad I restarted the game. It was just like, I don't know if it was what you call a memory leak or if it was more of just a coincidence, but it was really lagging there, so I'm glad we restarted. Okay, this is really nice. And I do like the shape of these rivers generally. Okay, I'm not going to go over there. It's going to be too much work to get it there and back. The problem with going over there, you see, is that it's the river is so wide and powerful that I just don't want to get stuck, you know, having to go up and down to go across the stream. So anyway, okay, we're traversing back to the likely settlement location. You know, I'm glad we took our time to look around. I'm glad we did our due diligence in the area, but I will be honest that oh, here we go. now we've got enough copper to do the first 2 tools, and we've got like several nearby copper deposits, and we've got a nearby tin deposit. So we're going to be in really good shape to quickly progress through the ages. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm glad we gave this a really thorough consideration, looked around, but I will say I was virtually sold the second we set foot over here to the Pretty Lands. It also reminds me of somebody else's series I was watching once. They settled in front of a giant mountain. So I'm all too happy to do that this time myself. Yeah, anytime there's like a little divot that's somewhat symmetrical, it could be... Why is there soil down there? That's weird. Oh, it's because the river mod put the gravel on top. Okay, anyway, the point is, yeah, anytime there's like, I don't even remember what it's saying. Oh, concentric, like geometrically, what's that, symmetrical, circle kind of thing, or X or square on the ground. It could be a sign of meteoric iron, which is good to mark because it's rare and you want to mark it when you can. And here's blue clay down here, and that's kind of cool. I like that. Okay, and there's a rift. And it's 10 o'clock in the morning, so we've got plenty of time in-game to set up shop. But I tell you what, I think I'm going to personally call it right about here. Once we figure out where we're going to be. I think I want to be deeper down this way. I think I want to go down here. Yeah, I remember finding the cherry tree here, which is a big deal. Get these blueberries. Alright, what if we put... I mean, I could put the cabin like right next to the cherry tree. I think that's what we're going to do. Got maple, birch, pine right in the area. We probably have oak closer than not as well. I think I see an oak right there. It's going to be larch up in the mountain theoretically. May have to go back for that walnut tree at some point, but... Alright, let's... Oh wait, this is the river. Okay, that's the lake. Alright, I may build out a bit of a beach. In fact, let's see, we've got gravel, some sand here. Trying to think, should I build here? Basically. Like, I think the 2 sites are basically here, which has a little bit more room to work with, probably. Or on the little island plateau thing. There's the meteoric expansion meteors. And I think my inclination is to start out on the island. I might do some agriculture over here. But let's start out right here. Right here. Okay, so that is where we're going to build. So I'm going to end my first episode here. And by the way, I've streamed about 2 hours, and the episode's going to be about 1. And we'll take it from there. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Let's Play Vintage Story.